Call this meeting to order. We have Commissioner Karbowski, Commissioner Arthur, Commissioner Whitmire present with us today. Commissioner Wilson is with us by way of Zoom. Leon, how's your family doing today? You have to turn him on. I need to unmute you first. There.
Yeah, just click that.
Hear me, Jay?
Yeah, now we can.
I said about the same. Thank God they're not getting any worse.
Good deal. Well, we'll keep our prayers open for those folks in your family to get over COVID as quickly as possible. And so, by the way, Leon, since he was exposed, he can't be here with us today. So, anyway, stay there for a few more days, Leon. We'll call you whenever the COVID's passed. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's all rise. We'll lead us in our pledge and invocation as well.
Please face the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please face the Texas flag. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Y'all all pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for each and every day that you allow us to get up, put our feet on the floor in the morning and give you praise for another opportunity, another chance to go through life and do things the best we can. And hopefully, Lord, we do things to your pleasing. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to have this meeting today. Thank you for the folks that could come in today. That even with the hurricane that is visiting our coast, we sure thank you for the opportunity once again that folks could arrive here safely and we carry on business of the county. Lord, please be with the folks that have been affected by this storm. Our friend Meg McDonald down in Matagorda County, all the way down to Judge Henry down in Galveston County and beyond. Lord, we hope that they fared well and they receive your blessings as they go through the cleanup period. Lord, be with us each and every day. With the COVID coming back somewhat, Lord, we know we have our work cut out for us. In whichever way that we can combat the COVID, let's all be cognizant of the effort of everyone to do their best to take care of one another. At the same time, be realistic in measures that they can be effective in any way they can be to not spread the sickness any further, especially with our schools and our cities and our county. Lord, thank you once again for blessing us, for all your blessings. Where we failed you, Lord, we ask your forgiveness. And Lord, please be with us as we go through this meeting and go through the rest of this week. Please be with our men and women in uniform, our first responders, especially now, as they will need your help. We ask these things in thy name, in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we have any notices or proclamations today? Well, I don't hear anybody just jumping up to say we've got a notice or a proclamation. So public comment. Now, Ms. Chambers, I know we're still registering brands. Do you want to give us a little quick outline on how it's working out? Or
It's doing great. Last week when I was in the county and district clerks big group meeting, all 400 and something of us all over the state, one lady said, we've had about 9 come in, and I've thought, I'm getting about 9 an hour, so. Yeah, some of these counties just don't have a lot of cow people, I guess, but we certainly do.
Mhm.
And they've been coming in and they've been great and super patient with us, and we're making it work. And
Yeah, they can register all the way up till January.
till February 28th, and then the brands that aren't claimed are renewed.
Yeah.
Go public, so to speak, and anybody can claim them. But they have it from now until February 28th, so no hurry, just plan to come in and register your brand.
Just be ready to expose your artistic abilities as you write your brand new
Yes.
book. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Any conflicts to declare today by anyone on the court? There being none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I hope y'all all had the opportunity to look over this. Dwayne, do we have any budget amendments we need to add on today?
I've got one payment I need to add. Postage for the tax office is to Master's Touch. $28,800. And I got one budget amendment to add for the county attorney mental health. Reducing capital outlay over 5,000 by 14,500 and increasing capital outlay under 5,000 by 14,500.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Got a motion for Bruce, second from Greg to approve the consent agenda with the items added as noted. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. On to the regular agenda. Consider and approve setting the 2021 proposed tax rate for Liberty County, Texas, and set a second public hearing for September 28th at 8:45. Basically what this is saying is that in our next regular meeting, we will set the tax rate. At that time, we are afforded the opportunity to have a public meeting if we need one. That's the way I read it, is according to the law. And for transparency reasons, we may go ahead and exercise that option. But this basically, all we're saying is, we're not setting the tax rate today. Okay, we're just gonna set the date we are going to set the tax rate, which will be at the next meeting. We're on September 28th.
Make a motion for setting the date for September the 28th at 8:45, and I second.
It's for the hearing will be 8:45, but the actual tax rate will be set at the regular meeting.
Okay, regular meeting.
Okay. Got a motion from Bruce, a second from Greg. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 2, consider and approve the order designating the second and fourth Tuesday of each month as days on which the Commissioners Court of Liberty County, Texas will convene in a regular term. Now, that has always been our dates throughout, I guess, the history of Liberty County. And as you know, we do have special meetings in between as they are necessary to call. But for all practical purposes, our regular meetings will still be on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. That we have each court meet.
So move to approve this item on the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion from Greg, second from Leon to approve. All in favor say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 3, consider and approve the 2022 holiday schedule for Liberty County, Texas. I hope you all had the opportunity to look this over. No big changes. But, I believe it's been very, very fair in the way the actual dates fell to where it a little bit more convenient. The holiday schedules.
Move to approve.
Second.
Greg, second Leon to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 4, consider and approve Frank Jordan as the new replacement for the Chambers Liberty County Navigation District Board. As y'all know, Ken Coleman has served on this board for a number of years and served Liberty County in a distinguished manner for us for, oh gosh, I can't really say 10 years or so at least. And, but Ken is moving. He's gonna move out of Liberty County, gonna move down to Winnie. So we can't let Jimmy, Sylvia have them down there and get away with it, right? Just I've got to pick at Ken just a little bit anyway, but he's really been a good friend to Liberty County and to the Navigation District Board for a number of years. And we've discussed this with Frank Jordan, and Frank has offered to step up and take his place on the board. And we do approve this today, that it will go on the Liberty Chambers Liberty County Navigation District Board meeting at their next meeting with the full board approval there. So what say the court?
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion from Bruce. Greg, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 5, for Ms. Chambers, consider an approved change in the contract for county clerk archive book restoration project for data preservation systems, that's NDS, to co-file under state contract through Texmas. I need to explain Texmas to me.
That is, and I don't know, Matt, you might have to tell me, it's a Texas state, it goes through the comptroller's office. It's a state contracting system, just like they have. The one, in a nutshell, DPS, who's doing our books, got bought out by a company called CoFile. Our statement of work and our pricing remains the same, but their blanket contract with the state is not through DIR like DPS was. It's through the comptroller's office with this, and it's got a name, and I'm just pulling a blank, state marketing, whatever. So it's a statewide contract that they use for all the counties that they work with. This is a big company. They do a lot of contracts. And we're basically have to replace the underlying contract that we work under from the DPS one at DIR to the COFA one at the comptroller's office. And that's the number T-MAS or T, what is it? T, I cannot remember. Anyway, it's like 18-3602, I believe is the number. And Matt can probably explain it better than I can, but it doesn't change the pricing or the statement of work or anything else we're working under. It's just the basic contract that we have to use because it's a new company. We've already registered them as a vendor. We've already got them, so we're just shifting over from DPS to COFA, but it's an established company with an established contract, so. Matt, your call.
And yeah, the contract checks out. It's a 5-year contract.
Okay.
It's a formality. We just need to change it because DPS is going away and becoming COFA.
Okay. Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion for Bruce, second for Greg to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's next. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 6, consider and approve the contract between Permitium and the county clerk's office for online request of vital records. There is no cost to the county for this service. Permitium will assess a charge to each request of approximately $4. It's pretty reasonable.
Well, evidently we're becoming a big county because this is a program that the big counties use. I think Brazos County just went to it and they're about the same size as we are. It's an online service where people from out of the county, out of the state can order their birth certificates. They go into the system and they check their background information. They get copies of their driver's license. They check their social security, they check their address to make sure that they're legit. And if everything goes through properly, then they forward the thing to us, the notice to us, and then we send out the birth certificate. They will be paying us through a direct deposit like our e-recorders do. It's just for birth certificates and death certificates. It's, and copies of marriage licenses. We can't do marriage licenses at this point. But it's a good system and it doesn't cost us anything, and it does allow people to do it online instead of coming into the office. And we've gotten a lot of requests for this. It's being used, like I said, by all the big counties, you know, Harris County, all these other bigger counties are using it. And I guess they're, you know, offering it up to us middle-sizers around 100,000. So they contacted me and walked me through it, and it looks like a really good, safe program. And I think our taxpayers and constituents will love it. And they do charge them on the top, not us. So we just have to provide the service and put links on our webpage. So it looks like a good deal.
The contract's fine, yeah, it needs some of the standard, no boycotting Israel, no dealing with terrorists, non-appropriation kind of stuff, but I have an addendum for it that I can get the.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Got a motion for Bruce to approve.
Second.
Second from Leon. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 7, from Sheriff Rader. And I see Sheriff is here this morning. Morning, Sheriff.
Morning, sir.
Number 7 is consider and approve the purchase of a 2021 Dodge Durango from Donaldson CDJR LLC. Tips contract bid series WDE 75 in the amount of $34,427.20 from 2021 budget. Is that okay? There. Right.
Harold?
I'm sorry, what? Is it okay? Yeah, so we're a member of TIPS,
Okay,
so it's good.
okay, we're good.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion from Bruce, second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 8, don't go away, Sheriff. Consider and approve the revisions to agenda item number 8, approved on August 24th, court for the body worn cameras and evidence management software. The revised annual cost will be $44,876. That's $11,219 per quarter through the buy board number 568-18. And those are for your new body worn cameras there. Is that correct, Sheriff?
Yes, sir. What we did is they required a down payment of around $135,000. And the next agenda item, we got help from the district attorney to do it. So it actually brought the annual cost of $44,000, which is in our budget. So we can pay that. It's just agreement that we're paying the down payment and we'll get this thing financed.
Right. Any discussion? Entertain the motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Greg, second from Leon to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, next. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 9, from Ms. Bergman, our district attorney, consider and approve the Liberty County DA's office paying $10,989 from the special investigative funds toward the down payment to Motorola to purchase 60 body worn cameras for the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. And Ms. Bergman, you have anything you'd like to add to it?
No, sir, just that I guess there was a difference in the amount that they originally thought the down payment was gonna be. So instead of having to come back to y'all and do a budget amendment and change the contract and all that, our office is gonna contribute that amount to it, so we don't have to do all that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce, second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 10, from Mr. C. Consider and approve the purchase of a building at 2099 Savings Street, Liberty, Texas. We've been discussing this. Harold, if you would lead us through.
Okay, way I got involved in this, I heard the rumor that the county was considering buying a building across the street, behind Tarver, across the street from Overdale. So I asked the judge, if y'all move beside five, I would like to consider, y'all consider purchasing an IT moving in there.
Yeah.
So there would be plenty of room for there's enough offices and storage for computer equipment and things that we get for auction to sell. Be good for those two offices for the foreseeable future for a while.
We do need the room.
What is the cost of this building?
277.
What do we forecast the renovations to be?
Right now, I don't think there's gonna be that many renovations if we use it for IT.
We're just going to use this building for IT, not purchasing.
The purchasing and IT.
Yeah. Purchasing and IT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Understand.
It looks like flooring probably is the only thing that really needs to be done.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Oh, that's the old K-Shine building, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
I make the motion to approve.
Motion from Leon, second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Here we have a new house. And so does
Nick,
Nick has a new house as well. I know we're running out of room, so our main consideration here, y'all, I'm just gonna put this out there. County services and county business and county commerce has always been in downtown. We don't like moving out of downtown. We'd like to keep things within walking space. I remember back in the days when my uncle was sheriff of Liberty County, when they would walk inmates over from the jail to the courthouse. They don't do that anymore. We have Zoom and all kinds of other neat things that we can use, to afford us a little bit better management methods, but then again, back in those days, the county was smaller. But in an effort to keep the vitalization of downtown Liberty and county government in downtown Liberty, this was an option that we chose to accept and move forward with. And thank you, gentlemen, for doing so. All right, number 11, consider and approve recommendation to award bid number 21-23 for 2 trucks to Martin Chevrolet for a total of $95,277 for road and bridge number 2.
Yeah, we went out for bids for these trucks. Martin Chevrolet had a bid for one. They're both Chevrolet Silverados. One was $53,155. One was $42,122. They're for precinct.
This pickups, 3/4 tons, what?
One-ton trucks, we use service truck with a flatbed, we'll mount all our service equipment, air compressors, fuel, refueling equipment on.
Great, great. Make the motion, we approve.
David beat you to it. Leon, you want to make the second?
I'll second.
All right. David has a motion, Leon has a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 12, Mr. C, consider to approve the purchase of a 2021 truck from Silsby Ford through the buy board contracts, so 1-19 in the amount of $38,660.20 for the district attorney. I think you're well due for a new vehicle.
It's not for me, it's for my office.
For your office. Well, no, yeah, you can't
I just
have,
want to clarify, not for me. Yes, we're.
but your office is very, very well due for a new one. I know that.
Yes, we are.
make a motion to approve. Second.
Motion for Bruce, second Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 13, Mr. C, consider to approve the payment application number 5 to White Construction in the amount of $297,271.22 for construction manager at risk services for the new sheriff's office in JP Annex. And this is just our
Yeah.
usual building.
Y'all should have the certification for payment signed by the architect.
Yes, sir. Any question, discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion from Bruce,
Second.
second from Greg. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, nays. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 14, from Ms. Harris, our county treasurer. Consider to approve on selection of sick pool review committee for upcoming fiscal year. Well, I just hadn't had the box. How many names we had to pick out of here, Kim?
I think we have to pick 4 names and an alternate.
4 names in a row.
2 and an alternate.
2 and an
Oh,
alternate.
2 and an alternate. Sorry, I stand corrected.
All right. Okay, well, I'm gonna hold this up here so everybody can see that I am not looking inside the box. And I'll do a little reaching here and see who gets pulled out. Savannah McCluskey from the district clerk's office.
Repeat that name, Jay.
Savannah McCluskey from the district clerk's office. And Cassandra Leopard from the county clerk's office.
She's in Cleveland, is that a problem? No, ma'am.
She what?
Okay. She's in the Cleveland office, she's not at the Liberty.
And one more for an alternate.
Yes.
Debbie Dean, I'm just kidding. Veronica Sierra from the county clerk's office.
We have to have another drawing. We can't have 2 employees from one.
Oh, it's the same office, okay. Okay. What are you gonna do if I call your name? Annette Levine from the tax office. All right. Those will be our new members of the sick pool review committee for that coming fiscal year. And we need a motion and a second to approve.
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion from Leon, second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 15, from our tax attorneys over at Linebarger. Consider and approve bids for delinquent tax properties. First one on there is from Varela, property ID number 73082 for $3,500. Second one is Hernandez, ID number 18417 for $7,000. 3 is from Johnson for property number 10194 for $5,000. Number 4 is Harvey for property numbers 70338, 70339, 70340, and 70341 for $9,467. And the last one is for L&M Baldwin on property ID number 53742 for $12,000. Looks like these numbers are coming up, Bruce.
Yeah, they are, as always. I always try to look at these places that we're putting up and making sure that there's people that are on them are aware that their place is being sold. And I see no problem in approving all 5 of these. Make a motion to approve all 5.
Got a motion to approve from Bruce, need a second.
Second.
Second from Greg. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 16 from our friend Alexis Cordova over at the AgriLife Extension Office. Come on up and visit with us, Alexis. We don't get to see you about 2 or 3 times a year. This is consider and approve the cooperative agreement between Liberty County and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for services between the state agency and the county, continuing education programs and services for Liberty County.
That's exactly what it is. It's a cooperative agreement. Most of our urban counties have this in place and have had it in place for decades. But as a rural county, we are getting larger, as this chamber said, and so they're looking at all of our rural counties and establishing this memorandum of understanding and having this agreement in place. For you guys, it's kind of in short, AgriLife Extension funds a portion of our agent salaries, all of our benefits and training in that manner. The county contributes to the agent salaries, and then the county also funds our operating budget and all of our county staff. And so all of the benefits and travel and things come from you guys. And so we're greatly appreciative of that. We couldn't operate without you guys. And so it's basically a formality to continue this agreement and move forward.
Great. I do want to thank you for all the effort y'all put into helping the kids with the programs, either through FFA or, through 4-H, and then also the education opportunities that y'all give out. I mean, you have a lot of programs. And the people that I always get this complaint from folks, there's nothing for the kids to do. Well, I beg to differ. I'll tell you right now, just get online and find out what Alexis and her group over at AgriLife Extension have to offer. And it is remarkable of all the programs that are out there.
We do have 10 community clubs. One of them is a project club that's focusing on horse. We're starting a shooting sports club. And these are in communities across the county. Of course, our volunteers do a lot of work. And so volunteer management is a big deal. So I can't take all the credit because a lot of that work is on our families. But as well as in the 7 school districts, all of the agents are adjunct faculty. And so we do go into the school districts, we do follow UIL guidelines for shows and such, but we do work with them as extracurricular activities. So we take all of our programs into the school. For those of you that aren't aware, currently, because we've had, over the last 16, 17 years that I've been here, we've had some staff changes and budget cuts and stuff. We have 4 agents in our office. Myself, it's Family Community Health. And then I'm the county coordinator. And then we also have an Ag and Natural Resource agent, Mr. Roy Flora. And then we have a 4-H and Youth Development agent, which is Amanda Brooks. And then Prairie View A&M funds the operating budget, travel, and salary for our Community Economic Development agent. And so the only agreement from the county is basically space and phone and internet service. And so that's nice. We also have 3 county staff members that are fully funded by the county. And then we also have a program assistant that's funded by our SNAP federal money through SNAP, which is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Moving forward in the next budget year, we're hopeful that with the approved budget that we will move one of those over to a program assistant, and that'll allow us to hire 2 more federal funded employees to help, hopefully bilingual, to help across the whole entire county with English and Spanish nutrition and health education.
Great.
And so we're busy, we're excited, and so we appreciate all of your help and support, and let us know if we need anything from you guys.
All right.
Thank you. And I
have been out to visit your location, and your greenhouse is great. And then of course,
yes,
Commissioner Karbowski goes out and helps y'all quite a bit.
he does, and we've added some parking across the street, so that way it'll allow not only our volunteers to park, but also when we have, validations or all the horse and cattle and all the livestock trailers that go through, they don't have to come into our parking lot and turn around in the grass, so they don't have to do that anymore. And so we're very grateful. And we don't have cars anymore. If you know the notorious cars, those are gone. So our backyard extended teaching gardens are looking good. Of course, with COVID, it's kind of delayed some of the volunteer activity. We do have a youth garden right now. But of course, the time of the year, we're looking forward to the fall. They're doing a poinsettia, Master Gardeners are meeting again. They're doing a poinsettia sale, and so they have plans and inputting the gardens, not only in the back, but also the bog garden, which is in that atrium area. So lots of stuff still going on.
I know the greenhouse that you have now used to be at the TVE,
Did.
and the family that donated that also helped in the placement of that greenhouse at your location. You want to tell us about that a little bit?
Absolutely. So Roundhouse is the company that has the greenhouse, and that is actually Chip and Sonda Green. And so they, historically, the Master Gardeners and TDE worked together to get that greenhouse donated to TDE for educational purposes for the community. It wasn't utilized as such, you know, with vendors coming in and tearing up the greenhouse. It just wasn't being utilized out there. And so I worked with Sonda and Chip Green to move it over from TDE to our backyard area. And graciously, they helped us rebuild and fix and put that greenhouse back up. And it's a very large greenhouse. It's probably as large as this room. And so Master Gardeners have a lot of plans for that. We have put in some additional lighting for the backyard for safety and for night programs, because we do know it's kind of hot. And so we're looking at some additional water sources, but it's moving forward. So we're excited about that young man to come out. It is dedicated in Bubba Gross's memory, which is Sonda Green's father.
Yeah.
And so we're very happy to rededicate that and get it back into the realm that it was initially donated for, which was for educational purposes.
Great. Thank you to the Green family for taking care of the
And, the only thing I need on the agreement is your signature, and then it goes to our big director in College Station. And so I will hand that over to you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion for Bruce, second for Greg to approve. On favor, say aye. Likewise, next. Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
I want to help my buddy Leon out just a little bit. You said something about sporting.
Shooting sports.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Leon he's off into the in sporting plays and stuff like this. Will y'all be offering that?
Yes. We actually have, I believe it's 3 trained coaches, and there's a training in November that 2 more coaches will be attending. And of course, shooting sports covers archery, rifle, all kinds, muzzle loading, all the things that I don't know much about, but that's why we have volunteers to do that. And so parents have stepped up to be those coaches, and so we will be initializing that project this year. So I'm excited. We normally partner with Chambers County and Montgomery County. They have a very active program, and so we have some folks in Dayton that have stepped up, and so I'll keep you posted, Leon, because I don't.
Yeah, I would appreciate it.
In the next month, we will be having a coaches meeting, and so we will have some posted practices for new families to join.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, and good to see you.
Good to see you.
We don't get to see you a whole lot, but
I'll stick around.
all right.
Thank you.
All right, number 17, permits and inspections of Mr. Douglas over in our permitting office, engineering office. Consider and approve certificate of construction completion of the GLO Harvey infrastructure project, which was with CCC blacktopping. David.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. How you doing today, David?
I'm fine, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. This pertains to Precinct 3. This is a GLO grant that has now been completed, road construction. And we need to file a construction completion because that will be an audit point when GLO comes in and examines our paperwork for these grants. So today I need you to approve the construction certificate completion.
Okay. David, do you have anything to say?
No, everybody's looking good.
Looks good. Okay.
We'll make a motion to approve.
Yeah, David, is LJA giving an approval on this?
Yes, sir. This
Or this-
document, this document is generated by LJA.
Okay, so they have inspected it and they're happy.
Yes.
Second.
All right, got a motion from Bruce, a second from Leon to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries. Next, thank you, gentlemen. Number 18, David, don't go away yet. You got a few more to go.
Yes, sir.
And approve county acceptance of as-built drawings of GLO Harvey Infrastructure Project from CCC Blacktop.
This is the same thing. This is general protocol for a grant project. Once the construction has been completed, the engineering firm requires as-built drawings. These will go on file with LJA Engineering and can be referenced in the future.
Any discussion? Entertain a motion.
Make the motion, we approve.
Motion from Leon, second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye. Likewise, no. That motion carried unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 19, David, is consider and approve construction contract transfer from Angel Brothers to Texas Materials doing business as Gulf Coast due to company acquisition on 7/30/2021.
Yes, sir. We have active contracts with precinct 1, 2, and 4 with Angel Brothers to construct roads for us or reconstruct roads. And Angel Brothers has been bought out by Texas Gulf Coast Materials. And so we need to do a change in our GLO documents to reflect that change in ownership. So basically, we're asking that you recognize Texas Materials as the final provider on those 3 precincts. Now, I think the only work that's still outstanding on that is possibly over in precinct 4. I know they finished in 1 and 2. And
Precinct 2.
yes, sir. I've got more to do for you, Greg.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe it's 4 they're finished in. But anyway, we just need to do a name change on that over to Texas Materials.
Matthew?
I don't think that's a problem, but I was reading up on something else too. Dave, let's go through go through it briefly again for me. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, okay, good. What has happened is we've had contracts with Angel Brothers for road construction, and it's through a GLO grant.
Yeah.
They have now, Angel Brothers has been sold, and Texas Materials has purchased them, and they've also picked up all of the uncompleted contracts. And basically what we need to do is a name change on our contracts showing that an acquisition took place and that Texas Materials is now the primary contractor.
Yeah, I don't know if name change is quite the way to consider it, but we might want to check, make sure that the contracts allow for an assignment, and then we just need to approve the assignment. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to be in there, but that would be the only thing to check for. And then, so the motion from Commissioners Court will be motion to approve assignment of contractual duties from Angel Brothers to Texas Materials doing business at Gulf Coast.
Okay. All right, Matthew, are you prepared to move forward with this today?
Yes, perhaps the motion were just to allow for final review of the contract to, by legal to confirm that that there's an assignability clause. That's right. Yep.
Okay.
I believe that's clarification enough. Is that okay with the rest of the court?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. With those matters discussed and explained quite well, what is the motion? Is there a second?
I'll make the motion that we approve with the understanding that we are able to determine that a transfer from Angel Brothers to Gulf Coast due to company acquisition, and then we move forward from that point.
Commissioner, I'll have Victoria Day check the GLO And we'll make sure that this is assignable.
Thank you, David.
We have a motion, Leon, and second from David to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. The motion carries unanimous. Thank you, gentlemen. Number 20, consider and approve draw request number 9, CCC Blacktopping. Pay request number 4, the final retainage payment for $76,633.97 to Gulf Coast, which is Angel Brothers. That's $479,356.56. Okay, David, you want to run us through this?
Yes, sir. This is actually payment number 9 is actually for the GLO grant, and it's for Angel Brothers and CCC Blacktopping. Or I'm sorry, pay request 4 is for CCC Blacktopping. So basically, we've got a request that we be allowed to make draw 9 and draw 4. Those being to Angel Brothers or to Texas Gulf Coast now, and to CCC Blacktopping. And then the other side of this motion would be that we be allowed to pay these invoices that CCC Blacktopping has an invoice into us for $76,633.97. And Gulf Coast Materials has an invoice for $479,356.56. So we're asking you to approve the draws and then associated with that, the payment of invoices.
Once again, Matthew.
I'm a little concerned if we're already paying when we've only approved assignment today. Is this work done by the Angel Brothers or by Gulf Coast, David? Do you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's my understanding that Angel Brothers assigned all this to Gulf Coast when they were purchased.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They assigned their accounts receivable.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, with the contract still being in Angel Brothers, are we gonna be able to write a check out to Gulf Coast?
I know. I think, David, how about we talk more about this offline and firm it up a little bit more, just to make sure. I don't want to, owe the government.
Neither do I, Matthew. All right, let me ask you something, Matthew. Do you see any reason that we could not proceed with draw 9 and draw 4?
So for CCC, I don't see it. I mean, assuming everything else looks good, which, then yeah, I'd say rock and roll on that. But look, I'd like to talk about Gulf Coast and Angel a little bit more.
So,
Sounds good.
I'll make a motion to approve, request number 9, request number 4. I'd like to table the Gulf Coast till Matthew has a chance to look at it.
I'll second that.
we have a motion by Bruce, second by Leon. Table number 4 to approve number 9.
No, pay number 9 and number 4. And the third is 3 items, correct, David?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not gonna pay that, the last one anyway, to get the money from the
Okay.
state. So we've got time to work on it.
All right, so we're gonna table number 9. Correct, Bruce?
No,
You're gonna table the payment to Gulf Coast or Angel
Gulf
Brothers
Coast,
for
yeah.
479,356 until such time that the contractual changes.
That is number 4.
Been approved.
Okay, that is number 4. All right, now we got that clarified. We have a motion, Bruce, second for Leon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, next. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, from Mr. Brown over at the tax office, number 21, is consider and approve security service at the tax office. I'll let you explain it, your brother Rick. It's been ongoing. Yes, sir. Not any discrepancies. It's just a hard thing to get somebody over there to watch the front door when the front door needs watching.
Yes, sir.
And I guess this goes back to October 6, 2020, when we actually occupied the new location on Highway 90. And we've had various combinations of security and everything else, and we appreciate all the services from the sheriff's office, from the DA's office, from everyone who chipped in to try to keep us with security. But especially with COVID, we were stressed a little bit and, but that's when we really needed even more than security. We need somebody kind of controlling the crowd and getting access and monitoring temperature, all the things that everyone else was basically challenged with as well. And since we were away from the confines of the courthouse, where we always had adequate in and out security and felt real comfortable being out at a different location, even though it was only 2 or 3 miles out from the courthouse, it's still, in my opinion, we needed to have a presence every day at our office just to avoid any conflicts and settle any if they do come up, but more of a presence to deter any kind of knucklehead trying to make a nonsense move or even just a little simple conflict. To me, having a law enforcement presence visible there every day not only protects my staff, but also the public that is basically all thrown in there at the same time. So we've discussed various options. Of course, with the new budget coming up, I didn't want to miss the opportunity of trying to identify. We've looked at different alternatives. And I think we came to the conclusion that maybe we just go outside and try to get a private source. So I was given that signal to go seek some outside services. Didn't realize how available it was. Within 2 hours, I had 4 offers sitting on the table to come in and do security. I was able to share those proposals with, I think, Judge has sent maybe you, Leon, I think Harold forwarded some information to you, shared it with Dwayne. Basically, it was kind of new for me, just trying to figure out, since I'm in law enforcement, I'm in civil, but still want to get security in there. So I was very impressed with the response I got. Basically came out of the heading of this bark.com, which evidently is kind of a Google search. When you look at the security, this company came up and they immediately sent me like 4 or 5 names to consider. The first one I heard from was this group that's in front of you from David Simmons. They're under Marine, let's see, my glasses here. It's Marine Security. And basically, just like the name implies, it's a group of former Marines, retired law enforcement, and they're stationed out of Kingwood. Got to talking to him, and he also indicated that they were doing the security for down at the river for the bridge work, the rail, all the stuff going on down there. So he knew where Liberty was, and he knew where the tax office was. So I was equally impressed. And then we immediately got 3 or 4 others, one from Houston, one from Spring, and everything else. But I kind of like this Marine guy because he was kind of local, already knew where we were, and he was already dealing with local people. I kind of call it our local option, even though, he's not located in Liberty County. So we went a little further. I ended up getting some security references, check those out. And then just from a non-law enforcement type deal, I did all my due diligence from that end. It came up with an offer. Basically, we just paid them by the hour for the hours that they work. And they're available during our work hours. They've also offered a vehicle with magnet signs and security lights that they'll park in front of our building. They'll get there 15 minutes early, secure the outside, check everything, make sure they stay with us till we close. They'll escort us to the bank. in their vehicle, bring us back, which is something that we've kind of been basically doing on our own, which provides unnecessary risk both to our employees and to the treasurers of the county. So I like that idea. They're uniformed, armed, licensed, insured. They could carry $1 million liability insurance. All those type of things that seem to hit, things that you could go out and, hire somebody. We got some other bids and it's almost the same, presentation. And they came in like $24.75 an hour. I had another one that came in at $16 an hour. And in talking to this guy, he said, that's what you're gonna get if you hire somebody $16 an hour, you're probably gonna get, $16 an hour. And that probably was without armed, because even this group was $5 less if they weren't armed. So the 24 went to 19. So
Yeah.
it may have been that far from it, but like I said, I feel like even though if you bill them at $24 an hour, 8 hours a day for the number of days we open, take away our vacation, the gross comes in at around 47,000 and change per year. What we have before you is a year contract. It has ways of getting out of it, just like any contract. I have shared it with Matthew. It was a little late, didn't get it to him until Friday, but was able to share with him. He has a copy of the actual proposal. And I think that's been provided to each of y'all today.
Okay. I'd like the opportunity for all the commissioners to review this as well. I looked at it,
Yeah.
they look great.
Yeah.
And Matthew's had a little chance to look at it, and Dwayne is gonna really look at it. Take off his checkbook on there.
Sure. And of course, it is effective, not until October 1,
Right.
realizing it would come out of the new budget.
Yeah, I'm getting 49,920. I know we're just shy of 50,000, but should we go out for RFPs for this?
I was gonna, before y'all voted, I was gonna recommend, it's under the 50, so you're okay, but if for some reason something changes in it
Yeah,
and we end up going over, then
Yeah, it's
that contract will
$80.
be void.
yeah, $80 right there.
Yeah.
Matthew,
But let me ask this, are they on a co-op? I couldn't find them on a co-op, but I know there are some that are on co-ops. Like the Harris County Department of Education has at least 2 or 3.
Again, I just reached out on Google and this is what it came up with,
I mean, look, the proposal looked good, I agree with you, but we probably need to do a little more due diligence on
And
it.
is this the route that we actually want to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to vote. Now, I'm the first time I've heard about it. I didn't got anything on it.
Send you a copy of it.
Matthew,
Yeah.
I ain't got, we got.
Yes,
sir. Email screw up, we ain't got any. Nobody's talked to us about it.
Yes.
But,
Well, this is discussion time.
yeah,
The main thing is, we have proposals out there, let's do it the right way. And I think probably with an RFP, with Harold, that way, transparency is very, very significant at this point. Also, we need to get with Dwayne and see if we can actually afford this. That's 2 things. Third thing is the contract even valid, that we can do this through the county. Probably so, but the other side of it is I want the opportunity to afford Matthew and his group to look over it. And then everyone will have questions. I know that David Leon will have questions, and Greg. So
Yes,
Why don't
there was
we-
no means to
Yeah.
rush it through because we're just trying to get it out.
why don't we table this and let's give the opportunity for everyone to review this and get on the same page.
Make a motion to table.
thanks.
And I told Mr. Simmons that we were going to be discussing it.
Matthew,
Yes, sir.
I've got kind of, we need to get some security there, but I've got kind of a problem with this one proposal. And one of them being that they're requiring a service retainer, $19,920. And then what they're doing is they're going to charge a $50 fee for a late payment after 3 days, and then it's a $25 fee for every day that they don't receive the payment.
Oh, yes. Yeah, no, you're gonna, it is, because of that retainer, the retainer was a concern for me too. Because if you add the retainer to the fees that we expect to pay over the year, we're over 50. And I didn't see through a cursory glance through it, how we can get out of the agreement within that year so that we could then go into RFP. So we might be committing ourselves to a course of action that we legally can't do.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's has already more or less expressed all my concerns about this as well, Harold and other commissioners. I would encourage, and please, I'm not against security at the tax office. I just want to make sure we're doing it right. That's all.
Yep. All right, we have a motion from Bruce, second from Greg Table, and we go back and revisit this next meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. So that motion carries. Thank you. And Rick, thank you. It gives us an opportunity to get
No,
right.
again, we're not in any rush. We're just trying to get it in the proposed budget.
Yeah.
You know, and this was my alternative.
Well, it's always been a problem getting security for you. I mean,
Yes, sir.
really need it the most. January, February, probably March, but maybe sometime in December as well.
And this is not the magic, like, this is the only thing that's gonna work. This, like I said, this is kind of what we had a chance to throw together at this point to get the discussion going. And
Well, thank you for getting the numbers, these proposals together. Yeah,
no problem.
gives us something to look at. All right. Number 22 from our county attorney, Matthew Poston. Consider and approve amended order of the Commissioners Court of Liberty County, Texas, addressing employee absences resulting from COVID-19. And this was really just there were some questions that we've had in the past. You know, if you work 40 hours a week, but what if you go home a split shift where you only are actually there 20 hours a week, but you're getting paid for 40 because you're split shift? And what happens is you get called in on a day that you don't normally work. Maybe it's a holiday, maybe it's even in the precincts, if you're only working 4 tens, you get called in on Friday. And then all of a sudden the question comes up, what about overtime? You know, don't I get this holiday to make this holiday number? And it was a question that's come up an awful lot. And the commissioners have always, the commissioners have always been pretty adamant about this. No, you don't get it. But the clarification still has to be looked at. And I don't know if we're ready to really delve into the weeds on this yet or not, man.
I can answer questions if you'll want. I mean, yeah, I don't have any proposed amendments for this policy, but it is a good time. The last time we looked at this issue was about a year ago. And, you know, here we are and get another wave. When we wrote this policy, it was with some of those federal benefits in mind. Those benefits expired last year. And more or less our policy says you can't get order to pay until you've exhausted those other federal benefits for qualifying reasons for those benefits. So, but yeah, there are certainly another number of permutations that reality and lived experience will throw our way. So I'm happy to answer some of those questions or go through some of those with y'all, or to prompt discussion about you know, possible amendments to it.
Well, in my opinion, I think it's simple mathematics. Overtime doesn't kick in unless you work what's referred to as a hard work week, which is 40 hours.
Right. Yes, you're absolutely right, Commissioner. It's you have to work those hours to get overtime.
Correct.
Yeah. Or holiday.
Yeah. That was always the question.
Yeah, the holiday.
The holiday was the biggest question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, would y'all like to table this and bring it back up? Is this just mostly for clarification?
I don't see where we need to, Jay. I mean, I think it's fairly fairly simple that, overtime's not kicking in until you work a hard work week, which is 40 hours.
Well, some employees don't look at it that way. The reason that we even have it on.
I understand that, but that's what we're here for this morning, to set this policy.
My question would be, Commissioner Wilson is like you, I've also during this COVID had to put my crews on split shifts. And let's say they work 20 hours and 20 hours. And then come the weekend, we have a storm blow in or a tremendous rain. And I'm having to call in these hands to go out and mark roads or whatever. Well, because they didn't get their 40 hours, they're now not entitled to the overtime. Now it's gonna get where I'm gonna call them in on a natural disaster and they're gonna say, oh, I'm sick, I can't come in. You know, they're not getting any compensation for having to come in on a weekend, although because of COVID, we've had to split their shifts to keep everybody safe.
But it reverts right back to, have they put in a hard work week, which is 40 hours? Have they put in a hard work week, which is 40 hours?
No,
If
they
they
have.
haven't, then overtime does not kick in.
Yeah, or the holiday. As
Or the
well.
holiday, yes.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you all the truth. I think we've been very, very good all the way through this COVID problem, and it has been a problem. You know, we made sure that employees receive full compensation no matter what. If we had split shift, they still got paid, you know, but we were receiving funds, you know, through the federal government to help us offset those expenses. Again, you look at that, some won't think it's fair. I think we've been way more than fair. And I believe just in addressing this, it would help folks understand a little bit better why, if you say no, you mean no.
Yeah.
It's what part of no do you not understand, the end or the other. But that was the only reason we put this on here, was to get this back out once again and say, hey, we still have COVID ongoing. We still have some split shift problems. We have folks here in the courthouse that are on split shifts, simply because we've had an enormous amount of impact on COVID here in the courthouse. And even I know in David, in precinct 3, you've had almost a full closure because everybody got sick.
Lost one employee.
Yeah, you had one employee that passed away. That's correct. But anyway, that was just more or less get some information out there to address what the problem is and then clarify what our actions would be. A hard 40 hours, Leon, like you said, is a hard 40 hours, period. Okay, all right. Any other discussion?
No, if I might, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And if we think about how so many private sector employees suffered immediately, laid off, I've been grateful personally, you know, for the opportunity to be where I am, that I never had to worry about a paycheck, you know, and my employees did.
Yep.
And that I think is something we should all be grateful for. That's right.
Well, this is more of an informative discussion. It's really take no action here at all, but
You sure we don't need to take action? Matthew, do you feel as if we need to go ahead and specify what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done when it comes to overtime under the COVID rules?
I mean, we can clarify, you know, in terms of if we wanted to amend to really make it more succinct, we could absolutely do that. And the only other suggestion I would have would be to delete all the language dealing with the federal benefits, except for the, you know, the qualifying events, what triggers the benefits under it, because that's a hook that we use too. That's how we qualify for order to pay, is those same triggers. But other than that, I don't.
Can we just put it on the next agenda?
Absolutely, yeah, we could do that.
okay. While we table this, we can bring it back up in the next agenda.
Yeah. Move the table.
Second.
Got a motion from Greg to table, second from, I believe, Bruce beat you to it on that one, Leon, so.
That's fine.
Second from Bruce to table. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nays. That motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. And Matthew, thank you. We'll get it all clarified. The main thing is that folks understand we're being as fair can be. Okay.
We're being good as good can be.
I'll agree. Number 23, Ms. Harris, over the County Treasurer's Office, consider and approve recommended options from the Liberty County Health Insurance Committee for the 2022 employee and retiree health and dental insurance coverage and related employee and employer contributions to the plan, and the options for the over 65 retiree medical plan. Kim, that was a whole lot.
That's right. And there's a lot of work behind all that language too. And Chuck Robinson with Gallagher is here with us today on Zoom, and he's going to talk to you about the options that the insurance committee is presenting to the court today for their consideration for the 2022 calendar year. We had a workshop on this, and there was a lot of good information discussed during the workshop, but Chuck can go back over that with you all and let you know exactly what the options are for the upcoming year. So Chuck?
Good morning. Thank you guys. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Excellent. You should have received, there's a 5-page kind of summary. As Kim mentioned, we met 2 weeks ago at the workshop and kind of covered a lot of this information. And then the recommendations that we're presenting today came out of the discussion that we had during that workshop. The first page of that document, I have it broken down into 5 sections, A through E, so that we can kind of walk through and just, touch on each of those points. And then if there's any discussion we need to have, then I'm happy to answer any questions. But essentially, the recommendations A through C, there's not multiple options, but the first one, A, being the self-funded medical plan. The recommendations, no change, that we keep the same medical plan design that we currently have for active and under 65 retirees, with the HCA or the healthcare account seed money of $1,000 and $1,500. We would renew the administration with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas and keep the individual stop loss deductible at $1,050, $150,000. We did go out to market. We didn't have any competitive proposals with other, medical carriers. There's really only 3 others that we can go out to market for the self-funded. That being said, since we are a self-funded plan, the medical plan has run real well. Blue Cross has a very good network in the area that Liberty County out in Liberty County, they tend to have a better network coverage than a lot of the other carriers, which is why they're usually more competitive. Item B is really just bringing forward something on the extent that got tabled. There was some discussion as far as the contributions for employees and the contributions that Liberty County makes to the plan. I included some of the backup from that August 10th on pages 2 and pages 3 of the attachment. But the rates that are shown here essentially are recommending the $100 increase to dependent tiers for the employee costs, and then also increasing the funding that Liberty County puts into that on those tiers as well. C is the self-funded dental plan. This plan has been running well year over year. We got a rate pass on the fixed cost from Blue Cross Blue Shield, and we're projecting an actual decrease in the overall cost of that plan. So the recommendation there is to renew with Blue Cross and keep the current rates the same for 2022. Option D is really was what we focused on at the workshop a couple weeks ago, and it's the retiree medical plan for over 65 retirees. We went out to market, and we found that there's some significant savings. There's an option on the table that can provide some savings, but we wanted to make sure we answered any questions. We had actually Blue Cross Blue Shield had an option on the table as well that had some savings. But I think there was some concern with regards to the noise and the disruption to retirees. And Benistar was able to come back and provide a similar type of plan that Blue Cross was offering that does reduce the noise because it keeps the prescription benefits the same. So I kind of highlighted the option one, which is no change. Benestar has gotten a 2-year rate guarantee on either option. So either of these options that we go with, we have those rates locked in for 2 years. And option one is essentially keeping the Medicare supplement plan that we currently have. We moved to that plan about 3 years ago. We were previously on a Medicare Advantage plan that created quite a bit of noise with the over 65 retirees because they had to use a limited network. So they didn't have the ability to go to any doctors that they wanted to go to. This option does provide a small savings, about $10,000 annually in savings on that. But it does create, a zero, impact to those retirees. It makes it seamless. It's the same plan that they're used to seeing. And we've got those rates locked in for 2 years. So it would be essentially a $20,000, savings over 2 years. The Part D, or option 2, takes a look at the medical piece, which covers parts A and B of the plan. And that would be swapping out the Hartford medical piece with Cigna. And this is a Medicare Advantage plan. The one piece that differentiates this plan versus what we had 3 years ago is that it's an open access plan, which means that retirees can go to any doctor that accepts assignment from Medicare and is willing to bill Cigna. The Benestar will continue to be the primary point of contact for retirees. Cigna would manage the claims instead of Medicare, so it creates a little bit more of an oversight from Cigna on that part. But there is significant savings versus the current Medicare supplement plan that we currently have. The annual savings is about $200,000 versus the $10,000. And is very rich. I do have on pages 4 and 5 kind of a summary of both the current plan and the plan option that we would have with Cigna. I'm going to quickly on option E. Last year, we increased the retirees. We matched the retiree only so that it matched the active employee rate. So we did increase the retiree only cost from $24 and change to $50 a month. But we did not make any changes to the dependent tiers. So it really is just it's a question, do you want to take a look at increasing the cost associated with the retiree dependent tiers? One thing to point out, though, is if we do make a decision to switch to the Cigna option and take advantage of that savings that you see there, the most you can charge for that spouse coverage would be $330.98 because that's 100% of the cost associated with that over 65 retirees. But that's a lot. I went through just now. I'm going to pause, see if there's any questions, any discussion.
Ms. Kim.
Your question on.
I was just checking, I didn't get a copy of the rates. Well, I believe our main concern right here is that the budget is set. We don't want to exceed what the budget allows. Right. And so any option in here that would show a savings, I'm sure that we're more than happy to vote on. I was checking proposed rates for the county contribution. Let me get a copy. Okay.
Ms. Kim.
Yes, sir.
I've been notified by our retirees that have been basically telling me that they would prefer to stay with what they have. Are you getting any feedback on that?
I have gotten feedback on that. The retirees are currently very, very happy with the plan that they're on now. They're able to see, the doctors that they want to see. It's a good network. They don't have any problem with their billing. So what they have now has been great. I can tell you that my office very rarely receives any complaints or problems or, things that need to be fixed on the retiree end as a result of the move that we made 3 years ago. And they really, are saying they don't want to make any kind of switch. So now, having said that, I mean, there is savings on the table. And we talked about this in the workshop. There's savings on the table with the move to the Cigna open access plan. But what I can tell you, if you decide to make that choice today, is that when we moved to the Advantage plan before, it was not pretty. The retirees had a significant amount of problem being able to see the doctors that they were accustomed to seeing. They had billing problems. A number of our retirees exited the plan, which, you know, I hated to see that. And I hated that that was such a big problem for so many retirees. You know, it's a tough business decision that the court faces because, you know, there is savings on the table. But, you know, like I said in the workshop, at what cost? At what cost to our retirees who have, you know, dedicated their careers to serving the county?
So on option E, we're basically, our retirees want no change.
Correct. Well, that's the feedback that I'm receiving.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good to me.
So that would be, from a plan design perspective, under D, option 1 would be net change plan. And under the contribution as to what we charge the retirees, section E, there's 2 options there. We can also no change to the premiums, but we did not pass along. So last year we increased the employee only for active employees. We increased the retiree only to match what the active employee rate was. So it was $24.16. We took that up to $50 for retiree only. But for those retirees that were enrolled in employee and or retiree and spouse or in retiree and family, their contributions on a monthly basis did not go up. Now, retirees pay a bigger portion than an active employee, and maybe we don't want to do that. It's really just highlighting the fact that, hey, we did this last year. We're looking at increasing the contributions for the active employees this year. I just wanted to present that as something for you to consider. But there's not a lot of individuals on the retiree plan that are actually in those dependent tiers. We've got 12 right now that are in the retiree plus spouse, and only 1 with retiree and family. So it's really a decision probably on D, what do we want to do with the plan? And then a decision on E, what do we want to do with the contributions for retirees?
Well, I think it's fairly simple for us on the decision when it comes to our retirees. I think we need to leave B as is. They've worked hard for Liberty County. They're struggling to make ends meet. They're enjoying what they have right now. And so I believe that we need to leave B as is.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Yeah.
Well, and then just kind of highlight just real quick on the top of page 2 is the, medical and dental and retiree benefits are not the only benefits that Liberty County offers. We went to Commissioner's Court back, I think, in May when we were going out to market. We had vision under rate guarantee, and we had received rate passes already from Blue Cross Blue Shield for all of the life and disability benefits and with MetLife. So the decision at that time was to only market those medical and dental benefits and, lock in those other benefits at that rate pass. So we're really only looking at the dental and vision as far as decisions today. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to, answer those, but I don't have any recommendation. I think you guys are making the right choice and doing right by the retirees.
First, you see that rate guarantee on the vision till 1/1/23.
Yeah.
It's page 2. Yeah. Okay.
Is that in our budget?
If we need to review this to make sure it's within our budget, we can do that. But,
Yeah, I didn't see a copy of that.
yeah.
Yeah, is there anyone that we can get with, look this over, get with our auditor, since we've already budgeted this, and make sure that we're not gonna go over and just make a final decision on these, the next court date?
I'll put it this way, I believe we are within our budget,
Okay.
but I would prefer that Dwayne had the opportunity to review this.
Yeah, I didn't see the copy, and I know that's the same rate classes that we charge.
I would like to make a motion to table this until our next court hearing, giving our auditor time to look over this.
I think that's fair enough. Kim, is it okay?
If we could table it with regard to the rates, I believe is what Dwayne is asking to table on, but if we could go ahead and move forward today with the decision for the coverage with regard to the retirees, it would be helpful so that we can move forward with all of the information that we need for open enrollment.
Huh?
Yeah, retirees.
Dwayne, does that satisfy you for the time being?
That's fine,
That's a no impact.
That's no impact.
Okay, Bruce, you wanna
Make
make a change?
Make a motion to table the rate and to approve the retirees of no change.
It's option one, no change.
Option one, no change.
All right.
Second.
And I think we need to go ahead and just confirm the self-funded plan as well, despite the fact that there's no change in that. There's really no change optional in that. If we could just go ahead, Bruce, if you don't mind, and include that in your motion, just so that it'll be clear.
On which one is that?
With, on the employee coverage.
It would be A is the self-funded medical plan, C, the self-funded dental plan, and then D and E. We're tabling B, which is the rates.
Make a motion to approve A, C, D, and E, and tabling B on till the next court on the no change on E, no change on D, C, and we are changing the A, increasing the spouse and the children and family up $100, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Also, we are not touching the deductible.
Not touching the deductible. I'll second that motion.
I'll second that motion.
Well, when timeout, we got Bruce with a. Whoa, Nelly.
Okay, I'm kind of in the same boat as Dwayne. I have nothing to look at and I can't see what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So what I heard you say was motion to approve the retirees option one, making no change to coverage, as well as options A, C, D, and E, and to table the approval of E, the rates for the Liberty County Health Insurance, is that what you're, did I get that correctly? No, you said something went up.
Matthew?
Yes, the A has went up on just the spouse, children, and family. And it's went up $100
To increase the
to
amount.
increase the proposed of employee, spouse,
Here you
children,
go.
employee, and family.
That's on the employee side.
That's on the employee side, correct?
Not retired.
Not the retiree.
Contributions.
But the intention here is to actually table the amount of the contribution from the county.
For the purpose of the county auditor reviewing it to match with the budget.
Right. Thank you.
Matthew?
Yes, sir.
Put some of that lower language in there and let us vote on that right quick.
You want to do this one more time?
Put some of that attorney talk in there so we can vote on this, okay?
Poor Matthew. I'm going to take up for my friend Matthew real quick. Matthew, do you want to pass that ball to Chuck and let him
Yeah, please, Chuck.
try to summarize what this is?
So I believe the motion that we want to put on the table is to approve option A, which is no change, keeping current medical plan design and the current admin with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Approving the increase to the employee monthly premiums for employee plus spouse, employee plus children, employee plus family by $100 per month. Tabling the funding from Liberty County's side so that we ensure that matches what was put into the budget. Approving C, which is the self-funded dental plan and rates for active employees and all retirees. No changes to plans or rates for 2022. Approving option 1, no change for D, which keeps the same medical plan for retirees over 65, Benestar, Hartford, and Express Scripts, and locks that in with a 2-year rate guarantee. And then approving option E, option 1 under E for no change to the contributions to retirees for what they pay for the medical and vision benefits.
God damn, we got it.
And I make my motion on exactly what he said.
And I'll second that.
Now we got a good motion and a good second here. Y'all fellas. Ain't nothing like crawling through the weeds on a Tuesday morning and they're right in the middle of a hurricane. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Oh, we have a motion and from Bruce, second, Leon. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, that motion carried unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen. And we will revisit the costs that are associated with it over the next meeting. Okay, we're not through.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Chuck.
In the executive session, so this time I need a motion.
We still have
24. I didn't.
24.
I'm sorry, Danny.
Yeah.
I'm writing all over this paper, so you know sometimes I kind of get a little.
That's pretty easy.
It's hurricane fatigue. Number 24, indigent healthcare pending with no. Consider and approve the UTMB number fiscal year 2022 compensation schedule. If you'd like to lead us through there, Rick.
Yes, we do currently, Liberty County does have a current contract with UTMB in Galveston for healthcare services. And basically all this is their fee schedule through the Medicaid Texas fee schedule. Every year they put it in the contract that we are contracted to pay under that Medicaid fee schedule, so it changes according to what the state says. We can't negotiate it. It's something that the state of Texas does with the Medicaid fee schedule. So they just introduced it and sent it to us for us to put in, and that's what we will pay for this fiscal year for 2022.
Doesn't change any of the material terms, just changes.
It does not change. No, it does not change anything in the contract. It's just, and it does state in the contract that we are based on that fee schedule. And it does change from fiscal year. So, and actually this fee schedule is a little bit less than last year, so.
Well, Wayne's gonna be happy to hear that.
Yeah, we're paying a little bit, not a lot. I mean, maybe 1% or 2% change. So,
Yeah.
She squeezes me pretty hard.
Yeah. Got a motion from Commissioner Whitmire to approve. Got a second from Bruce. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, nay. That motion carried. Now,
Make a motion to go into executive session.
motion to go into second session.
Jay?
All right, we are back in regular session, 10:44. We moved that out of executive session back into regular session now. And we have one item on the agenda, and that is to consider and approve the first payroll for Mystic County in the county attorney's office. And
And I would ask for a motion in light of the information I shared in executive session for her to her pay to begin on the first day that she appeared and to continue pursuant to the policies that are in place.
Approve.
Okay, got a motion from Leon, second from Greg to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Likewise, no.
Thank you, to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Bruce,
Second.
second from Leon, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Who did the motion?